what I'm going to start with is actually something that you mentioned last time as we were leaving. You said to me, have a think about, which I didn't, but I wrote it down. If there was a world event to determine the best music act ever, which 3 songs would you pick? That's what you said to me.
If you were going to submit for your favourite music act.
Yeah. Are we saying 3 songs from one act?
Yeah, you got to pick an act who you think would
Not
be.
Not 3 different acts.
No. I was saying you're meant to put forward one musical act, and you've got to pick 3 songs to represent.
When you say world event, do you mean the aliens are taking over?
And the most important thing is to decide which musical act.
Do you mean just like a Band-Aid type event?
Well, just the world decided, right, we're going to have a worldwide thing to determine who's the best musical act, and everyone's got to make their argument.
Are we both going to pick the Chili Peppers? I'm going to go with... Because this isn't how I planned to do it. This isn't what I thought you meant.
Okay.
But I am going to go with The Cure.
All right.
And the 3 songs I would pick, Just Like Heaven. It's one of their more guitar-based ones. It does have synth in as well, but it's built upon an acoustic guitar playing a rhythm, a lead electric.
What's the song that goes, go on, go on, go
on? Walk away. That's In Between Days.
Oh, okay.
It is more that kind of song.
So in that sort of vein, and okay.
But it's very 80s, super 80s. I'd also pick probably Pictures of You, because it's a beautiful epic. I don't know if you know that one. It's about 7.5 minutes long.
I don't really know.
But it was cut down to a single as well and was about 4 minutes long.
Okay.
It's actually a bit proggy in a way, but they cut the progginess out of it for the single, so no one ever heard it. Which is off the album Disintegration, which is known as their best album. And for the last song, I'm going to pick one that's more depressing. It's a side of their music that's not normally represented by the singles.
Okay.
And it should probably be a not 80s song. So let's go with the 90s one. From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea.
Okay.
Which is also a 7-minute song. I'm basically trying to impress people with length.
It's not the first
as
time.
per usual.
Why The Cure?
Because I love The Cure and I feel like they're being forgotten. And
do you feel the world would relate to those songs?
Yes. The first 2 I said have happy moments in them and generally have quite a happier sound. But all the lyrics are quite dark and depressing and you can relate to a lot of it. And I think that offers quite a lot. Who would you pick?
Purely thinking of what the world would relate to, 'cause some of the people I'd want to pick, I don't think they'd stand a chance. I mean, I'd be half tempted to say Muse, but I don't think they've got enough variation overall. They've got a lot there, but I don't know if they would have enough to stand up to it overall. And a lot of people are pretty torn on.
Would you pick Silverchair?
I don't think they've got enough catchy songs that the public could relate to as pop songs.
You go with Anthem for the year 2000.
If I had to pick Silverchair, I don't know if I would go for that. I'd go for Emotion Sickness. Again, for prog length. Possibly something early like Pure Massacre. Something off Diorama. After all these years. But I don't think I'd pick Silverchair. I'd be tempted to go for like Michael Jackson. I would pick Want You Back.
Yeah.
Jackson 5.
Okay. Surely you've got to say Smooth Criminal.
I was thinking that purely because that had a big extra revival after the whole Alien Ant Farm thing as well. I think Smooth Criminal, but I was thinking maybe not. I was thinking go for I Want You Back. I go for Beat It because that shows a bit of rock, a bit of pop, a bit of everything, and obviously with I Want You Back, you got the whole Motown thing going on, so that spans a big part of like the beginning of pop and all that.
Yeah. Then
I'd possibly go for something a bit later on.
Earth Song.
The other song I'd be tempted to go for something because of when he kind of came back, maybe Black or White.
Yeah.
But then Man in the Mirror, maybe. I'd probably go Man in the Mirror. I was going to
say, I would definitely pick Smooth Criminal and Man in the Mirror.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to decide. As the third song, it would definitely be between Beat It and
because I feel that's
Billie
too now. See, that's another one you could have had. I didn't even think of that. I wanted to go for something earlier because he's like, it spans so much.
I would pick Billie Jean, Smooth Criminal and Man in the Mirror. The reason I wouldn't pick Beat It is because I prefer Smooth Criminal and that's kind of a rock pop dance song as well.
Yeah. As much as I would, that wouldn't mean as much to me as going for someone else. Like the Chili's.
We haven't talked about whiskey we're having. We started on the Red Stag.
Oh yeah.
by Jim Beam. What's a red stag? Is that a thing?
It's a deer.
One
A stag is a deer.
When it's like time of the month.
And it's venison flavoured whiskey.
Yeah. A red stag is when you go out and get drunk and have sex with someone and you find that they're on.
And you look down and you've got a red stag.
Yeah.
You've got pink middle antler.
It says, infused with natural flavour. Red stag black cherry. Is made with Jim Beam, surprisingly. The world's finest bourbon, blah, 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 bourbon, giving it a delicious taste that is rich with American heritage. Red stag is when you have sex with an American virgin. Yes,
there we go.
And what do you think of it?
It's delicious. It's really nice.
It's not overpowering.
No.
Cherry.
Yeah. So it's not as obvious as like the Jim Beam maple was. That we
you can still taste Jim's Beam.
Yeah.
But as well as that, you've got a bit of
Cherry.
American virgin in.
So this is what happens when Jim's Beam goes into black cherry.
We were saying we'd both pick the Chili Peppers first,
Yeah.
wouldn't we?
I think we'd agree on at least one, if not two songs, to be in the three.
Let's end with the song we both know we're going to agree on.
Okay, there are two I think I know we're going to agree on.
Mm.
One of the other one I think you'll also agree on, if this isn't what you're thinking of, is Other Side.
Yes.
Purely because I don't think it's the song that most of the world would know or know already.
It was like a third single, fourth
But
single.
I think it means something personally to both of us in terms of like it was such a big song. But as an album goes, that was like...
And the harmonising on it is so beautiful.
Yeah. See, I think I'd be going for Something Off Blood Sugar, which we both know. I'd be going for Something Off Californication, which is Other Side.
Yeah. We've got to pick something off either By the Way or Stadium Arcadium. I'm going to go with something off By the Way.
Really?
Yes. I'm not sure what yet. I do love Can't Stop. Love the riff in it.
Yeah.
And in some ways it's a perfect pop song. But By the Way itself, beautiful pop song. Such a perfect chorus.
Yeah, the chorus is better. I'm not completely sold on the verse though myself.
Because it's too rappy.
But then it does kind of incorporate what the Chili's are with their lot of sort of funk rap bit, so that you could have that in there purely for that.
I think it's a perfect incorporation of all the things they do best in a pop format. But the one that we know we agree on from the start is Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
Which was written as a poem.
You said about that. Anthony Kiedis wrote it, didn't he?
Yeah. Rick Rubin, the producer, found the poem and said, well, why are we not recording this? And got everyone else to jam and come up with something for it.
And then John Frusciante came up with that amazing guitar piece. Because that, to me, for him as a guitarist, that's the song that, to me, epitomises what guitar playing is. There's a few leady bits. It's all based on the rhythm. But you've got simple chords. You've got straight chords in there. You've got the extra chords with bits added. You've got the little sort of like harmony bits he does on guitar, the extra little lead sort of bits that incorporate into the chords. It's such a complete song for guitar.
But what's interesting about it is it's written in a way that you don't have to play it the exact same way
No.
live, and it will still sound brilliant.
And he never does, yeah.
And everyone will like it.
That's the beauty of Frusciante though. He takes it from this basis thing, and from that he could do anything. Like if he wanted to, he could do other side as chords. He could do it as a single note version. He could do whatever he wants. He's got such a way of making something. Like he'd have that bass thing, but then he'd turn the song into what he wants it to be. And that's the great thing. 'Cause you can trace everything back to that, but it's just it's amazing.
Did you want to try more of Jim's Beam?
Yeah, what are we going for now?
Jim Beam honey, bourbon, infused with real honey, no lies. Inspired distillers took Jim Beam bourbon and infused it with real golden honey. The result is a smoother new chapter in the Jim Beam legend, with rich notes of caramel, oak, and vanilla, and a warm finish of sweet honey. That's so easy to drink.
I'm getting a bit of almost spice in that or something. I don't know. It's different to the Jack Daniel's honey. They're more subtle, their ones.
Yeah.
Although the maple's pretty damn sweet.
But not too subtle.
No.
And I look forward to the last one, Devil's Cut. It's only 5% stronger. Well, this is 35%.
Oh, so Devil's Cut's 40?
The first two were 40%.
Okay.
The honey is 35.
Yeah.
And the Devil's Cut is 45.
Okay.
Strongest I've had is the Abalone, which is 60.7.
What do you like about that song? Is there anything particular? Like, I know, like, you got to feel it, and there is a thing that, bit like for me, I know why I like it as well as just enjoying the song.
I feel like it's where Anthony Kiedis learned how to sing. He doesn't do any of his rap singing.
Yeah.
It was a new chapter in their songwriting and music making abilities.
Yeah, I guess you're right there.
And the thing is, they've never emulated that song. They've never done that song again. Like U2 have done that one song about 6 or 7 times at least.
Yeah.
That sounds the With or Without You, Pride in the Name of Love.
Streets Have No Name.
Streets Have No Name.
Still haven't found what.
Haven't found what I'm looking for. City of Angels. No, that's 30 Seconds to Mars. But it's definitely that U2 song that they're playing. Whereas Chili Peppers didn't bring out the next album and were like, well, here's that Under the Bridge song. Although the next album didn't have Frusciante.
No, One Hot Minute.
Yeah. Which had a song called My Friends, which was an acoustic song, and it was kind of them trying to go down more the ballad route.
Okay.
But Californication, when Frusciante came back, didn't have Under the Bridge or the equivalent of. I suppose the lead song Californication was a softer Chili Peppers song.
That to me, from Blood Sugar, not counting One Hot Minute, Blood Sugar Sex Magic had that. It had it had Under the Bridge. It had I Could Have Lied, Breaking the Girl.
Mm.
It had those sorts of songs.
I really like I Could Have Lied. I love that song. I love the guitar side.
Yeah, that song's
sometimes I don't listen to the song. I just skip straight to the guitar solo, and I'm just like, oh, that's so good.
that sort of sound, you can see it emerging from those songs up until Californication. Then it's as if that you think about it, most of the stuff is the soft stuff, but then when they went back a bit heavier, like for Stadium Arcadium, it was in a different way. It was less rap rock way, and it was more guitar rock sort of way. They went heavier. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess they went more in the Frusciante route. The two albums that are most similar to me, I'd say, is like Californication and By the Way. It's completely different, but By the Way, you can tell it's the natural successor, and in a way, a more basic.
By the way,
I'd say it's more simple. The guitar parts and everything is a lot more simple than Californication.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say the opposite. No. But then Stadium Arcadium is the one where there's an example of every type of Chili Peppers song they tried to make on there. And
it's pretty overdone. It's amazing, but it's a lot there. But I would say that By the Way is a lot more of a basic album. Not in a bad way. Just I think they've stripped it down.
It's more chilled out.
I feel like he stripped it down. Frusciante stripped it all down even more than.
I wouldn't say. I think there's lots of nice subtle layers of him playing a keyboard or doing backing vocal upon backing vocal or guitar upon guitar. But
the actual song structures. If you look at like Californication and all that, and like other side, they still got those big like kind of breakdown sections or like the drums kicking and like you don't really have that in By the Way as much.
It goes back to
apart from in like By the Way, the song itself.
It goes back to how we look at things differently because I'm looking at the production side of things.
Oh, no, I'm looking at purely the songwriting.
And you're looking at the songwriting.
Yeah. Yeah, how about from production view then? Is it just...
Well, from a production
view, there's a lot more going on.
That's what I'm saying. There are lots of different layers on By the Way.
Yeah.
Whereas it's quite a minimalistic recording in comparison for Californication. But you're saying that you're right. The songwriting it's not straightforward and obvious songwriting all the way through.
Californication has got less tracks, I guess, because it has like a lot of genres. It's got the one guitar track, one bass, stuff like that generally. But when it kind of like kicks in with stuff, there's a lot more drums going. There's a lot more sort of like when Other Side kicks in Around the World. You don't have a song as sort of really as fast as that on.
No. Or very few.
You've got like Get On Top. You don't have anything really like that.
No, you don't. You've got stuff like On Mercury and Minor Thing.
But they're still quite. They've got a soft feel to them, haven't they? I feel.
Everything on it's got a soft.
feel. The structure of like By the Way, it's very simple. The chorus. And then the verse, but then like Californication, the actual song, you've got like the extra little bits, like the bits before and after, and then you've got like the extra section in Other Side. There's a lot more of that going on.
And also, if you think back to the structure of Under the Bridge, that's very different as well.
Yeah, that's more like the songs on Californication, but there's the bit before the chorus. That
because the structure of Under the Bridge is intro, verse, chorus, then
it's actually intro, verse, chorus.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Sort of.
But then the whole like last minute of the song is like so different.
There's like a big outro bit.
Yeah. I've already finished my whiskey. I said it was easy to drink. You've not finished yours yet. I might have a in between.
You're gonna crack open your monkey shoulder.
Well, I was thinking
Jim Beam maple.
Because
Might as well, we're having a Jim Beam.
We're on
night.
such a Jim Beam sesh, I'm going to have a drop of maple. Why does that sound weird? The top of my maple's got crusty. Which is a little bit off-putting.
So our liquid's still coming out of it.
So we had an idea to do a cover of Under the Bridge.
But what we're going to do is Farron sort of sometimes likes to try and sing songs in different people's voices. And so I've written each section of the song he's going to be singing in a different voice.
Basically, I don't think...
He doesn't know who yet.
No, I don't think my natural singing voice is very good. It's a bit boring. So whenever I try and sing a song, I'll also try and do a half impression of the original singer.
Yeah. You've got the first bit of the verse, which is the softer guitar bit.
Yeah.
Then you got the second bit of the verse, which is going to be a different person.
Yeah, that
then
makes
you're
sense.
going to have the chorus in someone else.
Yeah.
Next verse,
Yeah.
someone else. Back to the chorus in the same person who the other chorus was.
I'll just change when you shout them out. Are you going to
Okay.
give me... Obviously, there's a break, like, where you hit the...
Do you want them all now as we start the song?
Let's try it without me knowing and see how well it goes.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry.
Serge Tankian.
I drive on the streets 'cause she's my companion. I walk through the hills 'cause she knows who I am. Forgot to look at the lyrics. And she kisses me windy. Oh,
Justin Hawkins. Jonathan Davis from Korn.
I don't know how to do it.
I was thinking of like...
It's hard to believe that.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Right on the street. Okay. James Hetfield.
It's hard to believe that there's nobody out there. It's hard to believe that I'm all alone. Hey, hey, at least I have her love. That city, she loves me. Lonely as I am, together we cry.
Justin Hawkins again. Fred Durst.
Is that next door in? Yeah, I think it was.
So our music task got cut short by people next door banging on the door. So we've got to stop.
We were recording our own version of Under the Bridge, but I don't think Next Door liked it. I think the Justin Hawkins chorus was the thing that pushed them over the edge. It started to make them slam on the wall. with their fists.
I'll turn the lights out.
Ben's turned the lights out, so now we're just lit from my Mac computer. I feel like we're going to start telling ghost stories.
Yeah. About how there's actually no one living next door.
So we could do maybe an a cappella version of Under the Bridge.
Do I have to do that?
The only problem is I try and sing the whole thing as Eddie Vedder, because that was the only voice I practiced in. It was along the lines of, sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend.
So if we...
I even feel paranoid about talking above mid-level.
I know.
Well, that was our musical segment.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed. It looks like maybe unless we do a daytime one, there won't be too many of them.
You watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah. I haven't been watching Better Call Saul.
No, that's a shame. It's really good. 10 episodes long. It's finished season 1 now. Yeah, did you play GTA 5?
I've seen bits of it.
That counts, that's enough. The most mind-blowing bit for me of all of Better Call Saul was one character. He's only in it for about 4 or 5 minutes. Do you remember the character Mike in Breaking Bad?
Yeah, Mike Ehrmantraut.
Yeah. There's a episode that's pretty much entirely based upon him.
Okay.
And he meets with this guy who's like hiring him for a job. I think it's like a drug dealing job. And he meets with 2 other people there. It's meant to be a 3-man job. And one of the other guys is played by, I think he's called Stephen Ogg. And I'm watching this guy and he's talking to Mike. And there's something weirdly familiar about him. But I've never seen this actor before, to my knowledge. I'm usually good at remembering and knowing actors' names and whatever. And then halfway through him talking, I click. And it's Trevor from GTA 5. It's the guy.
The voice?
Well, more than the voice, he is that character.
Does he actually do the voice?
Yeah, he does the voice.
But they make him...
And they've motion capped him entirely for the GTA 5 game. But the actor is basically playing practically the same character in Better Call Saul. Mm. And the moment it clicks, you're like, what the fuck? And it's really cool. I hope he goes somewhere, because Trevor in GTA 5 was amazing. Do you see
he's
any
the redneck guy, isn't he?
Yeah, that just starts beating the crap out of people or doing really dodgy, obscure things.
Yeah.
For me, it was Do
you think they did it on purpose?
They must have done. Because I think it was only shot a few months ago. GTA 5 was definitely out at the point that they shot it.
Yeah.
So I think they picked that guy to play that character that's basically like Trevor. But yeah, for me that was the most exciting moment of the new series.
I need to. Yeah.
But of Breaking Bad, the bit that I remember the most. I remember when people were talking about Breaking Bad before I'd seen it, and people were getting super excited about it. Okay, so many people are talking about it. I've got to watch it. And for the first couple of seasons, I didn't really quite get it. I thought, yeah, it's a really good show, but I don't get why so many people are so into it. I feel like there's some sort of twist I'm missing in it that I just haven't seen yet, because everyone says season 3, season 4 is when it gets really good. And I kept waiting for this big, amazing thing to happen. I realised eventually I was hooked on the show and really into it, but I still kind of in the back of my mind thought, is there something absolutely insane that's going to happen that I don't know about? Surely there's something else to it that has got people so hooked on it, and I've just managed to miss this massive spoiler. And there was a point where I thought I'd seen it. You know when Gus goes into the room with the guy with the bell, right? Yeah. And there's a bomb in there or something. It basically explodes. Yeah. Then you see him walk out, but you see it from side on. Yeah. And there's something not right about him. You're like, well, why, if he's just in a room that's exploded...
Why is he alive?
Why is he alive and looking almost... Not unscathed, but he looks mostly
immaculate,
okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then does the camera pan around?
Does he turn or does the camera pan around?
It's one of the two, but then you suddenly get to see him face on. And half of his face is... You can see the skull.
Like almost like Two-Face, isn't it?
The outline, but it's even more because it's not survivable. Yeah. So you're like, how is he standing up? And in the very brief moment where you can see the outline of the skull of one half of his face, I thought there was a crazy twist in it where Gus was actually a Terminator. Honestly, there was at least a full second where he was standing there looking almost at the camera or just past it with half his face blown off and you could see the skull, and I'm like...
You thought they'd been holding this in for like 3 series.
And I thought I'd missed this massive spoiler somehow, and it was about to become the most mind-blowing series I've ever seen. And I was so disappointed when he then killed over and died.
I've always wondered, it would be great to have a series, for example, that starts like normal as if there's no fantasy or science fiction about it.
Yeah.
And then when you're really deep into it, it switches.
Yeah.
That would be a brilliant one.
Are there any shows that you've seen where that have that kind of a twist in it that completely changes the game? Before you answer, do you want more whiskey?
Should we try the Devil's Cut?
We should finish the night off with me finishing you off.
Yeah.
Okay, last one is Jim Beam, Devil's Cut, 90 proof. I think that's in the name, 90 proof. Is it like 50 cents?
Basically you half it, which is 45, and that becomes the... What did you say? I'll get you.
Is it like 50 cent and the rapper proof?
Proof mixed together.
They had a love child. 90 proof. Devil's Cut. Didn't the band have a song called Devil something?
Who?
The band that Eminem and Proof were in.
D12.
D12.
Did they?
D12 Devil's Night.
Proof was in that as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they had an album called Devil's Night. That's why I thought it as well.
Okay.
There's a link there somewhere. Oh, God. Okay, I'm not having any more after that. I'm really worried that I've upset the neighbour. We didn't speak to them.
Just give them a free copy of the podcast once it's online.
They're all free copies.
Exactly.
They won't know that.
No.
Okay, so let's smell it and then smell the whiskey. As bourbon ages, the angel's share is lost to evaporation. The devil's cut is trapped in the barrel wood. Until now. That's what it says.
Until now.
Jim Beam, Devil's Cut, is a distinctly bold bourbon with rich flavour unlocked from deep inside the barrel. That does taste dark. Can you taste the evil? I say that every time I come in a girl's mouth. Which is very rarely. For saying things like that.
Yeah, and I'm not a girl. That's nice, got a bit of spice to it. I don't know if it's because I've just downed loads of the honey that it's weird going from the sweet straight to the
dark.
Yeah, to
the
evil.
darkness.
Yeah.
Taste the Justin Hawkins. Just
it's
like
nice.
The Neighbours did. Anyway, what was I?
So you were asking me if there's any series that's had much of an impact, like where I thought there was going to be a twist, or where there was a twist.
Or the way. Problem is, if you tell one that's actually had a twist and people haven't watched it.
And by the way, for people who haven't yet watched Breaking Bad, this is a bit of a hindsight thing. Spoiler alert.
There aren't Terminators.
Yeah. No, that was pretty awesome for me. That I don't think there's anything that's had that much of a twist that I know of. If I'd have continued with Twin Peaks, I reckon that would have gone a bit more weird.
Lost had loads of twists.
Yeah, but you're thinking of something that actually changes the whole way the story goes.
But Lost, you always knew it was going to have twists.
Yeah.
After the first episode, when shit started getting weird.
Have you watched all of Prison Break?
Hmm.
So I haven't watched series 4. I've watched series 1 to 3. But again, spoiler alert. The fact that season 3 they're back in prison, or he's back in prison. Obviously, it's a different one. But he actually goes in for the purpose of getting somebody out. That's it's not so much a twist, but it's like you're thinking it's just going to be more on the run. And you're like, oh shit, he's actually back in prison. But Prison Break, you kind of know by the name of the show
that at some point he's going to break out of a prison.
It's not going to be much of a show,
or at least try to.
Yeah. And
then he did, and it was still called Prison Break, but
should they call the second series On the Run?
Yeah.
The third series back in another prison. The fourth series On the Run again. I think Breaking Bad for me was I watched a couple of episodes. I watched the first episode. I was like, this is pretty good, but you didn't quite know where it was going. And if you watch the first few episodes, then you go all the way to like series 3 or 4, and then you look back, you think, how did we ever end up at this? Yeah, it's mad. It's such a journey, and it's always got that slight edge where you know something bad might happen, but you don't quite know when. Like the one with the train robbery thing. Oh yeah. And the kid. Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. But the show is called Breaking Bad. So bad things do happen. So I was thinking more of twists that are completely out there that change the whole show. Okay, yeah.
There's one in Buffy. I don't know if you remember.
Is this to do with her dying?
No.
Is it when Spike gets a soul?
No, I like that as well, though.
What twist then?
I think it's the start of season 5, maybe?
Her mum's not dead?
No, her mum is dead when she
Okay.
dies. I think we should probably say, any show we start talking about, if you haven't seen it, you might want to stop listening, because we're going to spoil it.
Is it when the crew of the Serenity came down?
Yeah, fly in, and you have this weird crossover, because Nathan Fillion plays a character in Serenity, and in Firefly, and in Buffy, and he plays both at the same time.
Does he play someone in Buffy?
Yeah, in the final season, he plays like a preacher guy who's evil.
Ah. And the bit where Jules State and Sam Shogella have a good old scissoring.
Oh, classic episode.
Anyway, what was the twist, Buffy?
Dawn. Do you remember her sister, Dawn?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first episode with Dawn?
It was the second series?
No, it was season 5.
Was it? Is that...
Where she's suddenly got a 14-year-old younger sister out of nowhere, and it's never been mentioned before or seen.
Does they not explain where she come from?
They do eventually, but
Does she just appear one day and they don't answer it straight away?
And none of the characters mention it.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, and it actually turned a lot of people off the show because there was suddenly an annoying younger sister, and she was never there before. And they're like, "You can't do that. You can't just add a character."
Did you do that to get rid of a lot of scumbags that were watching?
Yeah, it's like, let's get rid of the annoying, intolerant people that can't stick with the show.
Yeah.
Let's test them.
Test them. Yeah.
Let's test who are the real fans. It was just a bad idea for any show.
Yeah.
Because he did lose.
Is that what? Because I remember, like, I didn't watch. I watched loads of them, but then I think.
Yeah,
I
it's not like she
it.
had a sister that moved, who was living with her dad and moved in.
That's what I thought.
She was suddenly there. I think in the first episode, before they have the intro theme, they usually have like a minute to 2 minutes sequence. She's in that suddenly in an episode right at the start of season 5, maybe even the first episode, and it's done from a perspective of Dawn. I think writing in her diary and doing voiceover, talking about her sister, and you're like, what the fuck's this about? And all throughout the episode, all the characters are interacting with her like it's normal.
Like she's always been there.
Like she's always been
Michelle
there.
Trachtenberg.
Yeah. And then there's one point, I think it's maybe like 2/3 of the way into the episode, where there's a guy in a mental hospital or someone who's mentally disabled in the road or in the street that they walk by, and starts talking. And by this time, you're still watching the episode, and you kind of lost a little bit of that feeling of who the fuck she is, but you still like, who the fuck is she? And this guy comes up to him and starts saying, "You're not meant to be here. This isn't right." And then you're like, "Oh, okay, something is going on."
You're not going mad.
Yeah.
Is that the same episode that's the first one she's in?
Yeah, but later in the episode. And then it's many episodes in, or at least 5 in, that's many, that they start to say another character realises or sees something or realises she's not meant to be there. Do you remember what the story is? Eventually it's explained that there was some sort of ultimate power.
Yeah, the one or something, is it they call it? Or the evil? Is that it?
Or
there's something called the evil, isn't there?
That was in the final season.
Oh, okay.
The
That's not this,
or the first evil,
yeah.
That was called. That's not this. This is like some sort of super good power that can be used for good or evil. And they had tried to find somewhere to keep it safe, and they chose to make it into a teenage girl that was protected by the Slayer. And they implanted memories in everyone's heads.
Ah.
And the only people who could see otherwise were people who were mentally disabled.
Bloody hell. Yeah.
And something happens to Tara.
Willow's Tara.
Yeah, I think like Glory, the villain of the season, does something to Tara's brain and makes her mentally disabled, and then she can suddenly see Dawn and sees that she starts saying, "The light, I can see the light."
Yeah, this is all kind of coming back to me now, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was a good twist, but
Yeah.
it lost Buffy a lot of fans because they couldn't get along with such a change.
As long as he's not doing it because he had to and then write it in, is it like...
I don't know. I reckon the producers probably wouldn't have liked it because it's too radical.
Yeah, that's Joss Whedon, though, isn't it?
Mm.
That's cool.
But now they realise they should have listened to everything he ever said.
Yeah.
When he made the third biggest box office movie of all time,
What,
the Avengers. Yeah, he's not doing Avengers 3 and 4.
No?
No, they've signed 2 guys. I think the Russo brothers, who did the second Captain America film.
Is that any good, Winter Soldier?
Very good. Very good.
I've seen the first Captain America, that was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but it was the weakest of all the Marvel films in the universe.
Do you reckon?
Mm.
Okay. I haven't seen Second Thought. I'd like to see that. I like the first
That's
one.
very good as well.
Yeah.
But the second Captain America was really surprisingly good. And the third one has got Robert Downey Jr. in.
As Iron Man.
Yeah, as a supporting character.
In Captain America?
Yeah, in the third Captain America.
When's that coming out?
Next year, I think.
Oh, yeah. But in Iron Man 3, they only make a sort of small... Is Iron Man 3 after the Avengers?
Yeah, but it's a bit disconnected, Iron Man 3, isn't it?
Yeah, but then that kid asked him about the Avengers.
Oh, another good twist in House.
Don't know if you say it's because I do want to watch it.
Oh, how much have you seen of it?
None of it.
But the people who are listening that know House, it's at the end of season 3, start of season 4.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. It's not that he's actually the one. He's actually Neo or something.
For the Terminator.
Yeah.
Such a good idea, that break. I'd love it if someone had the balls to do that. I guess, like you say, what Joss Whedon did, but the fact of, like, if you just do something that completely changes
Or, that you'd had a hidden license that you'd gained, like a license to the Terminator movies, but not used it for 3 seasons.
That'd be great if, like, every season on telly is, like, has got that, and they're just all waiting for the right moment, they're going to strike at the same time.
You're watching, like, 3 or 4 different shows, and in the same week they all strike.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god.
Great. Yeah.
This is actually, they got the license to Barney the dinosaur.
Yeah. It'd be good if it was something like a normal drama, like sort of like, you know, rom-com, sort of like, you know, romantic drama, and then it switched into like a horror, got darker every episode.
Like World War Z, where in the last 45 minutes of the film, it's more of a creepy horror thriller.
This is what I meant to ask you about
rather
that
than
film.
an action horror for the rest of the film.
I saw one of the versions, but I didn't see both, but I don't know what the difference is. Because I just saw the one where he's in that place and he's trying to sneak to get those things in that room.
Theatrical, mainstream version.
And what's the... No, I thought that was the director's cut version I watched.
The director's cut has a whole extra action sequence in a different city that cost many tens of millions to shoot, but they actually reshot a completely different sequence and replaced it.
What one is that? Is that one where they climb up the wall?
No, that's in the main film. But
Okay.
there is a whole extra sequence that's probably on the director's cut DVD or Blu-ray somewhere.
Okay, it's been a bit of a musical episode.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you this one, because you said about B-sides, JJ72 cover things.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about B-sides. I don't know if you buy singles.
Very rarely. I bought one about a month ago.
Okay, because like...
Which is a very embarrassing buy.
What was it?
It was the Wheatus single for Wannabe Gangster.
You better go back to Kojak. That one.
Comac or something. I don't know. Is Comac a place?
Yeah, Kojak's a detective.
I think it's Comac.
Yeah, that was the last track off the first album.
Yes, but the reason I bought the single, because obviously I have the album. The single is a different mix and recording. They've completely updated it, changed the pace a bit, and they've added Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden.
Really?
They've added a dodgy rap verse by an unknown rapper. But I had to buy it because I was making a best of Wheatus playlist, and it was £1.24.
Fair enough.
But yeah, basically, in the last 30 seconds of the song, it has Bruce Dickinson just going, ah!
Is that not Justin Hawkins?
It's a bit bigger. It's a bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too loud in case the neighbours think we're
going back to our
wait until they've fallen asleep, and we're just going up to the wall. Like,
now they're asleep, they'll never hear it. Now, what I was going to ask was B-sides, because I thought you might be somebody who gets singles. Is in terms of production, because you're into like the production side of things, how well recorded generally are B-sides compared to the actual single, which is obviously on as part of the album?
B-sides are usually recorded at the same time as the album.
Yeah.
But they're songs that they've left off the album because they...
Sometimes they do covers or alternative versions, don't they?
Sometimes they'll record stuff deliberately saying this is going to be a B-side.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I thought that's what sometimes they do. But...
Most of the time they're offcuts from the album where they're like, either it wasn't up to the same quality or it doesn't fit with the theme of the album or the themes of.
Okay.
But occasionally they're like, okay, we've got pretty far, we've got a third single coming out, we've run out of B-sides, they go back in the studio, record an extra song. It really varies.
Okay.
For example, let's take the song Just a Day by Feeder. Yeah. That was actually recorded for, I think, their album Yesterday Went Too Soon, or Came Too Soon, which came out in 1999, which had the singles Insomnia.
I don't know if I ever know that.
It
Is that
was-
before Buck Rogers?
Yeah, 2 years before.
Oh.
Just a Day was recorded for that, but they decided it wasn't that great a song and left it off. Then they re-recorded it for the album Echo Park, which had Buck Rogers on, and decided still wasn't up to the quality of that album. They didn't think much of it. So put it on as, for one of the singles, either that or 7 Days in the Sun or something. They had it as a B-side. And people loved it so much, they then released it as a main single and became their most well-known song, along with Buck Rogers. It really varies band to band.
Yeah.
I like it when a band collects all their B-sides and releases it as a CD. I love that. Vida did that. They had a 2
Oasis did that.
I'm not into Oasis, so...
Okay.
Muse did it with Hullabaloo.
Yeah, there's one disc with the live, wasn't it? One was the B-sides.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's a couple of good tracks on that. I like Map of Your Head. That's really good.
Yeah, I love that song. That's probably the best song on there, along with... there's a live one on there I really like. I can't remember what it's called.
What, on the first part of it? On the live bit?
I can't remember.
In Your World or anything like that? Or...
It's In Your World.
Yeah.
That's it.
That Dead
I
Star
love
as
the
well.
guitar
Those
side
were
of it.
double A-sides.
There are studio versions of those songs.
Yeah,
somewhere,
I've got them.
I haven't got that.
So I had them on my laptop that's died. You know how In Your World starts on the live one? It starts with a... It's, you know, the classical...
Yeah.
That's how the studio version starts.
Oh, okay. This is really strong, this Devil's Cut.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't Incesticide a collection of B-sides?
Yeah, for Nirvana.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
The other couple of things I had on here, one was about, when I was listening to one of the Smodcasts, Kevin Smith mentions, funny enough, weirdly, I'm sure there's lots of people that have, he mentions about Toy Story 3.
I love that one.
Yeah, and how he was crying at it in the cinema, and I was doing the same. When I went to see it with my girlfriend, her dad, I think maybe her brother, I got really emotional when they're all holding hands in the furnace. And I remember her dad...
Again, spoilers for Toy Story 3.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, yeah. The aliens, the zealots, come out of nowhere and save them. And I was so happy, I was crying. I had my 3D glasses on.
Yeah.
I was crying behind them. And her dad was just there, and he doesn't ever cry, anything like that. And I just turned around and I went, the zealots! And I was so happy that they saved them, and I was crying. And he says in it, he says they're fucking geniuses, the Pixar guys, and they are. 'Cause Up, Wall-E, all of I've cried more at Pixar films than I've cried at any other film.
Yeah.
Apart from Titanic and Armageddon. But that's another story.
I completely agree on all
My
all
question
accounts.
was, do you get emotional to the point where you cry at films? Because I do quite a bit when they're like sort of...
Not often, but all of those ones you've mentioned, apart from Wall-E, yes.
Okay. No, I didn't cry at Wall-E. I got pretty, moved towards the end. There was a couple of bits towards the end where I was, welling up. But then they brought out Toy Story 3. They brought Up, then Toy Story 3.
Are you sure? Was it Up directly after Toy Story 3?
No, Up, then Toy Story 3.
Was it? I remember seeing Up and being like, oh, I can't cry at another Pixar movie. And in the first few minutes, everyone is crying.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I remember seeing a thing on the internet. Do you remember when there was a meme that was better love story than Twilight on the internet?
Yeah.
And they just showed one picture from the start of Up, lasts however many minutes long, better love story than Twilight, which encompasses so many books and so many movies.
It's true.
Completely.
And yeah,
I'm trying to think of other films I've cried at. I'm trying to think of an embarrassing one, and I've got one. Short Circuit 2.
Okay.
It's all about Johnny Five going into the big city.
Okay.
New York, I think. People are taking advantage of him and stuff.
Sexually.
Yeah, people are... he's got those little open eyes. They try and fuck him in the open eye bit. He's got an ass that's like a VHS recorder and they just...
Put their flat rectangular cocks into it.
and press eject repeatedly. No, that never happens because it's a children's movie. But there's a bit where he gets attacked by two guys, I think in a park, and they chase him down to an alleyway and they just beat him to shit. And it's horrible. He defeats them because he uses his little antenna thing to control a little flying, a toy plane, a toy knife, a toy plane, and it flies and it flies into the ass of one. It's all very kid friendly.
Yeah.
Apart from the bit where they're beating him to shit. And he's just there, like, screaming in his half electronic voice, just, no, no. And I'm there like, So I cry in that bit.
Yeah.
That's about 2/3 into the film. The last third, he recruits Michael McKean from Spinal Tap.
Is he in the first one as well? Was he just
No, he's not in the. He's just in the second one.
Okay, yeah.
What else is he in? He's also in Better Call Saul.
Is he?
He's really good in.
He's in a few things.
Yeah, over the years, he's been in loads of stuff, loads of random bit parts. He helps rebuild. He goes into like a closed Radio Shack place or something, and they use spare parts to. Basically, he puts Johnny Five back up to emergency power mode, which lasts only an hour or something, and so he's basically goes and chases down the guys that have beaten him to shit, but he's leaking battery fluid, and he's there talking about he's leaking battery fluid. It's like his blood. He's gonna die. It's really horrible. And then he starts chasing these guys down, and for some reason he's down like by a river and chasing them by a river. And the music they put on is obviously this film came out in 1989, sometime around then. And when he's chasing down these guys by the river, one's on a boat and he's just there riding at the same speed as the boat, and they're playing Hero. You know the song Hero.
Well, I need a hero.
That one. It's so cheesy, but I'm there like, come on.
That's it. Films can just
and he somehow controls with his little antenna thing, controls a crane to pick up the guy, and he lands the guy back on land and then captures him. But then Johnny Five passes out, and at that point, who's the guy? The guy that was in the first one, who's actually a white guy but plays an Indian character with an over-the-top Indian accent, and he's always, "Come on, Johnny Five."
Yeah.
But it's really racist, but it's okay because it's the 80s.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring Johnny Five back to life. He's got some paddles. He's zapping his chest. And Johnny Five's eyes are just like closing and flapping all over the place. And then there's a moment where they think he's dead. And they have a close-up on the little eye bit. And it just starts to flicker open slowly. And then he opens and he's like, Benjamin, who's the guy.
Okay.
And they start hugging and it's like, oh my God. So I start crying at that bit as well. Then it fades out. And it's the very final scene where they're doing what's the oath that they take when you become an American.
Is it the Pledge of Allegiance? Or something
where you become an American civilian, and they're scanning across a whole group of people with their hand up, and then there's a voice that's slowly getting louder, and it's the voice of Johnny Five, and he's become accepted as an American civilian and a human, and he's all in gold.
Revamped him.
They've revamped him, and he's all in gold, and he's there. And a lot of the films about him. He's not accepted as being alive. You know, Johnny Five is alive.
Oh, okay. Is that the thing?
That's the thing.
Okay.
And when you see him that moment in gold, and he's become human, I'm like, oh. And they go up to him and they ask him, "How do you feel?" And he says, "I feel alive." And he jumps up in the air, and it's a freeze frame.
Yeah. Yes. Can you get more 80s than the freeze frame?
And that's where it ends, and the music kicks in.
Awesome.
And I start crying again.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's an example of a film that I cry to, even now.
For me, it was always Titanic. I saw that at cinema, and I made out that it was the bits where you see all the kids. Where like there's drowned, you see the kids, the mum and the kids there, and they're just lying together.
There's an old couple as well.
But that didn't upset me. It was Leonardo DiCaprio dying. That sent me into floods of tears.
No.
Yeah, when he's holding him and all that, and you're like, why don't you just get on the fucking wood? Just have better balance. You can get on the wood. Rose. Yeah. Is that a name in it?
That's the name.
That's what he's saying to her.
Yeah, get on the wood.
Yeah, she's going to get on the wood. He's going, no, you get on the wood.
And he's there shivering. It's like, get on the wood.
And that white crusty stuff in his hair isn't for us.
No.
Yeah, the reason he froze so much is because all the blood's rushed to his penis.
Yeah.
It was him dying that made me cry. And Armageddon as well, with Bruce Willis, where
Ben Affleck's like, Harry!
Yeah.
No!
And then he goes down to him and then he drags him back out, doesn't he? And he goes out. And I was like, Bruce Willis, whatever his name is in it.
Does he knock him out or something?
Basically, they all draw a straw to see who's going to have to stay on the meteor to blow up the thing. And Ben Affleck draws the short straw.
And felches Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
You start crying.
Yeah, that's it. It's so beautiful. And when it's, I guess if you're gonna have to have a straw for doing that, you might as well have the shorter one because it gets it over quicker, rather than the anticipation of the long straw seeing it ride up slowly towards
Going
you.
over the little ridges. Yeah. Would you pick a brown straw as well so you can see it as well?
Yeah. You just got to close your eyes and just get drinking. And then he walks him down and he goes like, "Oh, I've got to go."
Arseagallon.
Huh?
I don't know. Arseagallon.
And then he goes, "Oh, I'll walk you down to the doors." And then as he goes down, does he do his thing? Knock his oxygen off or something?
Yeah, that's it.
So he throws him in and he goes, "No,
Mm.
I'm John McClane. I'm doing this. I'm taking the credit."
Yeah, he whips the oxygen thing off and goes yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah. And Ben Affleck's like, "Yes, I'm gonna get to fuck Liv Tyler again." And then Bruce Willis is like, "No, I'm not gonna get to fuck Liv Tyler again, even though she's my daughter." Yeah, that's how it ends. Yeah, that made me cry. And Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. I think I cried because he didn't really have any friends. And I think also because I didn't really understand the film when I was like 11. It was just so dark.
Truman Show.
I didn't cry at that. Do you know what? When I was young, the first time I watched Truman Show, I didn't like it because I thought it was going to be another Jim Carrey Liar Liar style thing.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, and at the time when I was like 11, The Mask, Ace Ventura, all them. That's what I was going to expect.
That's what you wanted to see.
Yeah,
but when
and then it was a bit too adult. When now I watch it, I love it.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting a Jim Carrey comedy.
Yeah, I
and
think
there
a lot
wasn't
of people would
any
agree.
comedy in it. Really, I was just like,
no. There's that one bit where he's drawing on he's had like a shower or something, and he's drawing on the mirror and pretending to be a spaceman. Do you remember that?
No.
It's a very brief comedy moment in it, and even when watching Eternal Sunshine, I still was probably, when that came out, 2004.
So like 3 or 4, yeah. I watched it my first year of uni, Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah, I would have been 18, but even then I was like, I want a Jim Carrey comedy. And the only bit that's like a Jim Carrey comedy is when he's dressed up as a toddler and he's under the table and he's pretending to be a toddler.
Eternal Sunshine?
Yeah.
I don't remember
It's
that.
a very brief dream segment.
Oh, okay.
Where he's travelled back into being a toddler, but it's Jim Carrey playing a toddler. And that's quite funny. And I was like, oh no, it's like a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, clutching at straws.
Yeah.
Not the same straws that
No,
Felch, Bruce Willis.
No, we shouldn't. You shouldn't use those again.
No.
You shouldn't put those back in the straw
Should
pot.
at least get one of those test tube cleaners to scrub through the straw. Have you seen Yes Man?
Yes, man.
Yes, that's what you need to say. That was good. That was more like an old school Jim Carrey comedy.
Yeah,
that I like that.
Did you read the book?
No.
It was based on a book. It was good.
I like that.
Written by Danny something.
Danny Glover.
Written by Danny Glover. Danny Glover.